Welcome everyone to the webinar around how Cloud Coach can expand BMC Helix Remedyforce capabilities on project management. We go a long way back with Cloud Coach in our relationship. It's been a part of our ecosystem for many years, and for this we want to give Cloud Coach a little opportunity to kind of promote what they have around project portfolio management on the Salesforce platform, and what that will bring in combination with BMC Helix Remedyforce, but also with other, like the other Helix brand which we have within BMC. For this, I would like to introduce you. Peter, can you?
Yeah, thanks, Olivia. So my name is Peter Lee from Cloud Coach, and I have Bree Snook on the phone with me today, who is going to be doing most of the hard work in demoing. I just briefly wanted to touch about what we have related to BMC and Remedyforce is we have project management solutions built natively on Salesforce. We have 4 tiers of solution. So starting from our always free fundamentals tier up to the very complex, very advanced Cloud Coach Ultimate tier. What we're going to do today is demo through all 4 tiers for you. So you've got a little overview of what appears in each tier. Obviously, the free tier is a great way to get started. It's deployed by about 6,000 companies globally now, including some of the biggest companies in the world, everything like Walmart, eBay, are all using Cloud Coach. So I'm going to hand it over to Bree, and she's going to show all the 4 tiers. We'll start off with the fundamentals tier, and then we'll stop back to this screen again, and then go to the professional tier, and so on up. And she'll also show the interactions with Remedyforce as we go. Okay, Bree, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. Like Peter said, my name is Bree, and we're going to be going through this whole tier process, so starting out here with our free version. So without further ado, let's hop into the action and start within Remedyforce. So the whole goal here is as your users are working within the Remedy console view, they'll be able to identify if something maybe is a little bit more complex and we'd actually like to convert this into a project. So let's say, for example, I'm working on this incident and I realize this really should be taken to another level. So I want to create a project off of this incident. So if I go and I check this box that says escalate to project and I hit save, what this is going to do, the system is going to automatically create a project off of this investment. And if I go into this details area, I can see that creation here. So without having to do anything, without having to think about it, I'm able to automatically generate those projects. And we're using project templates. And the great benefit of using templates is I can associate different project types or different types of projects we're running based off of details that we're capturing here on our incident form, so that you get that best project to be created. So now that I have this project, it automatically creates that two-way sync between Remedyforce and within Cloud Coach, so that as I'm working on my project, I'll be able to get updated within Remedyforce about how that project is actually progressing. But let's dive into that project and show you how your users might actually interact with it. So this is an example of what your projects might look like within Cloud Coach. So I can see here I have my tasks listed out, so that's represented here by that blue box. I can also see the dependency chain by that the lines that are connected to those, as well as some of the subtasks that are related to that task I'm currently selected on. I can go through and I can filter and prioritize my task work, showing late, upcoming, in progress, as well as really quickly highlight my critical path or the tasks that are driving the duration of that project. I can go and I can work on this project in any way I want to. So if Gantt views are comfortable for me and I like to work on a schedule, I have that option. But let's say, for example, I might prefer working within a board view. So we also have a view so that I can drag and drop these tiles around and move my projects as needed. Same goes for list view. So I can also see my tasks listed out more in an Excel spreadsheet sort of view. So you have these different views to capture and to work on your projects however you see fit. But let's say, for example, I'm working on this project, and let me go through and add a couple more subtasks so we can see this completion percent. So these are representative of our subtasks that our task is currently selected on. So if I check off these kind of to-do items, so let's say I checked off subtask 1 and 2, hit save. Now on our Gantt view, I'm able to see that completion percent represented here. But the great thing about this is if I complete out that very last subtask on this task, the system will then go through and automatically adjust the rest of my project plan based off of that dependency chain. So I don't have to think about it if I go through and complete a task early or late. The next tab that we have over here on our side panel is our details area. So this details spot is configurable, meaning your admin can come in here and they can drag and drop whatever fields that you want to expose about your projects or your tasks right here on this side panel. So your end users get the most information that they need without having to click into another page. We also take full advantage of Salesforce's chatter, so that's the next tab over. So meaning I can @mention my team members. So let's say I'm working with Charlotte on this particular project. I can @mention that team member as well as upload a document. So let's see, it looks like I have the scope document. I can say, here's the doc, and then share that with her. So now she'll get that nice email alert saying that I @mentioned her on this task with this document. But the really nice thing about this, you might have noticed at the very top of our project, there's this path. And so this path is actually going to take this document that I just uploaded on this task and pull it into our document library. So I can see here we now have that brand new file that's associated with this project. I can see some of the contents, so I can flip through those pages here, as well as attach links. So if I am working in Google Docs or SharePoint, I'll also be able to upload a link to build out our document library there. Now the next tab over is allowing us to assign out work. So I can see with this visual icon over here that our project hasn't been allocated out to a resource. So if I would like to go through task by task to upload and assign out who I think is going to be the best fit, I can use this very last or second to last tab over here, and I can start searching for my users. So let's say, for example, I want to assign out myself. I can go and assign myself, maybe Charlotte, and start building out that team of users who should be responsible for this task. Let's say I work in kind of a smaller team, and I know that I'm going to be a resource that I'm assigning out pretty regularly, as well as Charlotte. I can bookmark these two users, and they're now going to appear in my favorites. So let's say if I go into this very next task, now within this favorites area, I can really quickly assign out those two users who are commonly within my team, or those users that I'm going to reference a lot. We also have the ability to go in and assign out contacts. So if I have any external contacts that I'd like to use more as a reference, I'd also be able to assign out a contact so that I know internally that we are waiting on some external users, external resource to complete out that task, so I know what's kind of either holding up or hindering my project plan. But that's doing it task by task. So if I'd like to do that, I can go through and click in that very last tab. But I also have the ability up here in our resource area to assign out our resources in this quicker fashion. So I can select a grouping. So if I pop this open, this is going to let me select either by start date, end date, type, and status. So we're currently selected on this type area, which is going to let me categorize the type of tasks that I have within my project. So I can see down here the available options, and this part can be configured as well. So if there's different types of tasks that you run, you can also associate those here. But if I want to assign out all of my operations work, I can click in that type area. It is going to pull back those tasks that have that operation type. If I check that box, this is going to let me upload and select my users who should be assigned out to this task. So let's say Lori is going to be my resource for this particular item. So now I can see that Lori has been assigned out to this, all of my operations work. And if I go here to, let's say, marketing, and I want to reassign, so let's take out Charlotte and I just by clicking on that X icon within this list view. But let's go through and assign out all of the work, maybe to Andy, and then we can also do, let's do Sawyer as well. So you can go through and you can start building out your groups based off of the type of task that you're running. But once again, you also have the ability to do this with any of those other fields. So start date, end date, status. So now that I've just assigned out work to my users, we have one spot, so one consolidated area for my end users to go to see this work that has just been assigned out to them, and that's called My Assignments. Within here, this is going to show me my to-do list, so I can see all the tasks that I've been assigned out to in a Gantt view, a board view, and list view. So once again, however my end users prefer to work, we're giving them the option to do so. And if I want to work within any of these other views, I should also point out the side panel is going to adjust accordingly as well. So no matter what view my end users choose, they'll have that same side panel functionality with all of the details that they need in order to complete out that work. So I can see up here that there is a time path. This is going to bring us to our next tier up. So within milestones or fundamentals, we're able to assign out our work and do and complete out work and things like that. But if I want to move up to the next tier, which is our professional tier, that really lends us to our time tracking, adding in additional groupings for our projects, and even allowing us to show externally how our project is progressing. So let's dive into our professional tier here. So I'm going to come back to our projects just to show you a little bit more about the additional functionality that you get within our pro tier. So one of those being is our phases. So you might have noticed on our fundamentals project, there wasn't an additional grouping or that green bar at the top. And our green bar is representative of a phase. So now our projects go from the top level, you have your project, then we have our phase. Underneath it, we'll nest our tasks, and then our subtasks will also be shown here. So you get that additional grouping. You still have all of the same functionality within the timelines view. You still get documents, so any document that you want to upload, as well as resources. So I can go through here, sign up my resources in that same manner that we saw before. Another benefit of going up to professional is that we also have our external project view. So this external project view is going to allow me to send out to our client how our project is progressing in real time. So you send this link out once, and they'll be able to bookmark it and reference it. So refresh it daily, weekly, monthly, however they're going through to monitor their project plans. And they'll be able to get this read-only view into their project and see how it's progressing. You have the ability to customize what's shown at the very top here. And then they're also able to go into this task list view. So if they prefer to work more in a list view, they're also able to go in here and see what's happening within their project plan like this, as well as being able to search and sort throughout their the task list that they're seeing here. But there's also more to this. So I mentioned before that there is the ability to enter in time. And so if we want to hop into our My Assignments area, so this is going to look similar to what we saw within fundamentals, but one of the differences is as I'm working on these project plans, so as I'm checking off my subtasks, let's close that out. So as I'm working on my subtasks here, as I'm updating these statuses or details on the task, maybe collaborating with team members, I can also come over here to this time area, and this time section is going to let me document or monitor how much time this task actually took. So let's say I spent 30 minutes on one of those subtasks. I can really quickly create that time entry from within this Gantt view. And then if I come to my timesheet, I'll be able to see that reflected here on my overall time entries for this week. So within summary, this is giving me, once again, just a preview of what I've entered in time against so far. So I can see my admin time, I can see the project tasks that I've been working on, as well as the ability to favorite specific tasks that I might be working on throughout the next couple of months. We give your users the option to either enter in their time daily. So if they prefer to come in at the end of every day, come into this daily assistant, enter in things such as their admin work that they've accomplished throughout the day. This admin categories that we're looking at, this is configurable. So if there's any other additional admin fields or fields that don't pertain to your business, you can always take those out. But the real lifesaver here is Genius. So what Genius is going to allow me to do as I'm working across all of my different projects, maybe I'm putting out fires, working on a bunch of different tasks, it's going to remind me of all of that work that I've done throughout the day. So anything that I've made a field edit to, status update, chat or comment, that's going to pull it back into my Genius so that I don't have to go back when it's 5 p.m. and I'm like, oh crap, well, what did I do at 8 a.m. this morning? This is going to remind me of all that work that I've accomplished. We also have an assignments area, so this is showing me what I was assigned out to for this day, as well as the project name, so it really helps me identify what's going on here. We also give your users the option to do this weekly, so if they would prefer to come in every Friday to enter in their time, so let's say for the rest of this week I know I'm going to do 2 hours of training, so I can really quickly go through and enter in those 2 hours throughout the rest of the week, and I'll see that reflected here in my summary. You still get that same functionality to use Genius, so as I'm working across my projects, I'll be able to see what day specifically I was working on, let's say, this particular task. This is showing me that I worked on this task on Monday, but it's going to gray out the task on Tuesday because I didn't work on it. So then really helps me identify when I was doing that work. You also get project assignments. So project assignment is going to allow me to see the project name at the top as well as the task that I've been assigned out to. So then I can go through and really quickly create those time entries if I was working on it this week. The last tab here is your project assistant. So this is going to let me see all those different projects that are currently ongoing within my organization. Click into it. So let's say maybe I wasn't directly assigned out to a piece of project tasks or a piece of the project. I can go in here, search for whatever project I might be looking for. So in our example here, it's our Helsinki trade show. And then this is going to show me those tasks that are associated with that project as well. So the main benefit of moving from fundamentals to pro is really for those teams who need an additional level of grouping, B, to show their external resources or external clients how their project is progressing, and then C, if you're really looking to start adding in time entry for your project plans as well. But now I want to pop over into our black tiers, so our enterprise and ultimate tiers. So these are for your larger organizations, but you're going to notice that the same UI kind of exists between all 4 of these tiers. So if I go over here, now we're within our enterprise tier. So this is an example of one of the projects that I'm currently working on, but you might notice at the top that we have that same path idea up here, just with additional functionality. So as you move up in our tiers, we just add on top of the additional or the original functionality. So it's a really easy process moving from fundamentals, pro, enterprise, and then all the way up to ultimate in the end. But starting here in our timelines, this is kind of the same thing that we saw before within professional and fundamentals. So you'll see the phase, tasks, dependencies, and then over here I'll also be able to identify my subtasks. We do have a functionality here at the very top, which is going to allow me to snapshot and or baseline my project. And you can do this at any point. So as I go through completing out phases, hitting milestones, I can go back and snapshot so I can identify how my project plan is doing, how we're progressing, what tasks maybe are our bottlenecks, and things of that nature. But over here at our side, I'll be able to see, once again, those subtasks. So as I check those off, it's going to adjust the completion % of our project plan itself. And then we'll also be able to go back and compare that to the snapshot that I recently just took. So once that saves, that'll adjust the rest of that dependency chain. And if I click on that snapshot, now I'll be able to see where we thought we were going to be, which is represented in that gray, to where we're currently at now, which is shown by those colorful boxes. You still get details. I still have the ability to chatter and collaborate. So I can see Andy posted and sent me a PDF for me to review. And that's still going to roll up into our documents section here. So now I'll be able to see that PDF. I can flip through the pages, see what's going on within there. But we also have the addition now to capture meetings within our projects. So if there's, your project kickoff meetings, client update meetings, I can capture all of that here. I can see our agenda items, meeting minutes that have been taken, as well as who has been an attendee to these meetings. So you can store all of that now within your project itself. Within the side panel, we also have additional functionality to capture things such as tickets. So tickets are things, kind of that ad hoc work or things that I want to capture and monitor around my project. So these are another area where we can configure. So you might not have all of these listed out. You might just have issues and risks tagged to your projects. But I can go and really quickly flag a risk that I'm noticing on my project. Give it a quick name. Save it. And now I have this open risk ticket associated with this task. But just like we saw within documents, that's all going to roll up under our controls area. So this control spot is going to show me my open issues and risks that are on my project plan. I can click in, get more detail, and work on from there. Now, if we go back to our timelines area, I can notice that part of our project plan has been assigned out to resources and part of it hasn't. So the red icon is showing me tasks that haven't been allocated to resources. So if I click on that little icon, it's going to take us into our resource page. From within here, this is showing me the task that I'm working on, as well as the skill that's going to be needed. So it's showing me here that I'm going to need a project manager on this date for 2.67 hours. So if I go down here, this is going to allow me to see my resources who are project managers, who have that skill set. This is also showing me what their current capacity looks like on that day. So for example, if I click on Charlotte, this is going to show me that project work she's assigned out to, as well as the task and how many hours each of those are taking up for that day. So I can go in here and I can say maybe Malcolm will be a good resource, as well as Georgia, and the system will split that load 50-50, but I can always go through and adjust this however I see fit. So you can go through task by task, but we also have project level assignment. So this is going to allow me to see the different skills that are needed on my project plan, as well as letting me see the tasks. And I can see Andy's been assigned out to our business analyst, but let's take him off for right now just to show you how I can actually allocate out this work. So if I click add a person, this once again is going to show me that filtered down list of my resources who have that skill set. I can click on the real-time capacity and see what they're working on throughout that week. So I can see the project name and hours there. So then I can identify maybe I will be a good resource and maybe John will also be a great resource for this project. And then we can always split up that load however we see fit. We also have the ability to capture some top-level financial information. So any of the expenses that you're capturing around your project plan, we can start bringing that onto your project so that we can quickly visualize. And then same with your financial benefits. You can start building out those benefit areas on your project plan as well. I do want to flip over into your end user perspective. So within Enterprise and Ultimate, that end user view is called My Day. So My Day is that one spot where your end users can come to see all of the work that they've been assigned out to. So it looks very similar to how Fundamentals and Pro looks, but we do have, once again, additional functionality built on top of this. So within To Do, this is going to show me my schedule. So not only is it going to pull back that project work that I'm assigned out to with that nice side panel that we've seen before, but this is also going to pull back things such as Cloud Coach tickets. So any of those tickets that I created on my project plan, I can pull those back here so I can start working on them, collaborating, entering in time. Same with Salesforce tasks. So I can also pull back any Salesforce task that I'm responsible for within one spot. So the other two areas, so we have the ability to pick up work. So maybe I don't want to assign out work to a named individual. We can put it in a queue so the users with a specific skill set can come through and add on additional work if they have the capacity. We also give them one spot to see the meetings that they are responsible for and that they are going to be in attendance to. So that's going to be all within one area. And then the last bit is your time card, which it looks very similar to how the time card within Pro looks. So you can see your summary, so all the project work and admin work that I've been assigned out to, as well as the same thing goes for your daily assistant. I get that admin work. Within Genius, this is going to pull back, once again, everything that I've been working on. But I can see I've been working on an account, projects, tasks, tickets.
And
so
of course,
all of that work is going to be within here.
All your Remedyforce work will show on Genius as well. So both To-Do and Time Card at the enterprise level will show all of your Genius work as well. All your Remedyforce work there
That's a great point. Let me actually hop into another My Day area within one of my other demo orgs just to show you that. So this is another example of how a My Day area could look for your users. So this is showing me once again project, Cloud Coach tickets, Salesforce tasks, but this is also showing me my Remedyforce work. So I can click in here. We can adjust this side panel to show us more details regarding that Remedyforce task or ticket that I've been assigned out to. And I also have the ability to go in here and see that broken out here as well. So showing me all of that work that I need to do, giving my users who might be working on project work and BMC incident work as well, all within one spot. And this will also be able to enter in time against it. So as they're working on this incident, let's say, for example, I entered in 1 hour, I can really quickly create that time entry there, and that'll show up here within my time section as well. So I can see those 2 incidents that I've worked on so far. Yeah, great point there, Nick. But now, moving on from within this enterprise tier, we're going to move up to our ultimate. So this is our PPM tier. So really monitoring your demand intake, identifying what's associated with your top level portfolios. So coming into our portfolio view, this is really allowing us to start rolling up the information around your projects that you're capturing, investments, programs. So all of that detail can be pulled up here for that total executive view. So I can see my portfolio financials, which we can have it set up so that it's taking all of your project details, so the project financial details you're capturing, and pulling them here on your portfolio. We're also able to pull in some nice quick hitter charts. So I can see any open Cloud Coach tickets. We can pull in Remedyforce tickets on this portfolio as well, so that I can see that broken out, as well as things such as investment score by portfolio, project ROI. We can start adding in additional groupings. So things such as programs. So if I need to group my projects within a particular program and roll that up to my portfolio, we have that option as well. Same goes for my projects. So anything that's related to an investment or program, we can have that roll up all the way up to your portfolio level, so that here I can really quickly see what's in our pipeline, how things are going. If I click on the show Gantt, I'll be able to identify, what we've already accomplished within our portfolio, as well as what's coming up and what we're working on within this particular portfolio. This side panel, once again, is showing us top level project details, which is also configurable. And then at any point, if I want to see why this project is so far behind, I can always double click, and that's going to take us back into that view that we were previously on, so that I can identify what's actually going on within these projects related to my portfolio. So I can see this list view here showing me my business modernization portfolio, and I can flip through those projects as well. But going back to that portfolio that we started on, we also have the ability to run through and see our investments. So this is capturing, we call investments. This might be any demand that you're capturing for your portfolio, for your projects. We might be able to use, or we will be able to use that within our investment object. So I can see here my investment status by score. And if I actually click into one of these investments, so let's say, for example, I want to do this investment. So if I click into this investment, I'll be able to see that this is actually running through a path. Meaning we can run your demand through a different path. So if I want to first have this get approved before we actually start planning, once again, planning, we can run through another approval process to make sure that before it's actually executed, we want to take on this initiative. But I'm able to run it through that stage approval, which is also another thing that we can add in different stages that relate to your particular business use here. We can adjust the top level details for the summary and things that you're capturing. We can even do some scoring matrix off of this. So I can see our current score is 1.42. But if I go through here and maybe I up this to 100 IT effort man days, I'll now be able to see that that total score has been adjusted as well. So we can set up specific scoring matrix. It can be a little bit more complex. It can be simpler, but you do have the ability to start prioritizing this investment and this demand intake before it turns into a project. And we oftentimes see within Remedyforce that you might have a incident service request that then gets turned into investment before it gets turned into a project. So you can set that up that instead of going from Remedyforce automatically into project execution, we can have that turned into an investment so that we can vet out and make sure that we are prioritizing and making the best judgment or best use of our resources time by running it through this investment process. So if I go over here and let's submit it for approval just to show you the project getting generated off of it, it kind of completes the loop. So this is kind of starting from you are initiating, taking in that first project request. Let me go and approve this really quickly. And then from there, that's what's going to generate the project off of this investment. So once we approve that, it will automatically create that new project from this investment. And once again, this is using different things such as templates. So we can set up different project templates based off of the type of investment that you have created, based off of the scoring that you have on this investment. And so I can now see this project created. And if we click into it, that's going to take us back into that Gantt view that we've started out on. So that's kind of a quick overview of all of the different 4 tiers. So with each tier, obviously, we just keep adding on functionality. We're keeping the UI the same throughout all 4 tiers, just adding in different sections that you do get more and more, functionality as you move up the paths and as your business matures. You can easily move throughout these 4 tiers with us as your company gets more sophisticated with their project management.
Thanks, Bree. That was great. So just to recap a little bit on what Bree said there. Like we said, our green tier, it ships with every sales, with every Remedyforce trial. Cloud Coach Fundamentals is in any Remedyforce trials which do ship. It's completely free. It's actually pretty powerful. It's got more functionality than many paid products out there. Really quick and easy to get going. And then from there are various upgrade options according to what's needed. Obviously, when we get into big competes with people like ServiceNow, we're really competitive up in our enterprise and ultimate tiers with functionality that ServiceNow has. So if you've got a head-to-head Remedyforce going against ServiceNow and ServiceNow trying to play the project management piece, then that's a great time to sort of bring us in at Cloud Coach. If you do have any questions or need any help with any deals, then just reach out to sales@cloudcoach.com. Just sales@cloudcoach.com, and we'll make sure one of the team get back and helps you from there. And I think with that, we'll hand it back to you, Olivier.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Are there any questions for people on the phone which you have? And if you don't have any questions, we'll make the recording available so you can look at it again, share it around in your organization. And I'm assuming...
Olivier,
yes.
Olivier, I don't have any questions just at this second, but I'm sure I will have after I've just kind of gone through what's just been said. Is there a particular contact we can use within Cloud Coach to sort of position those questions to?
If you just send them through to sales@cloudcoach.com,
Yep.
Juliet, then
Thank you.
that's managed by more people than just one person. So
Perfect, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, I'll make sure if I share the recording that's mentioned as well, Peter.
okay.
Okay, then I think we can conclude this webinar. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Peter and Bri, for the presentation, and talk to you soon all.
Okay. Thanks very much, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye.